Hi, hello friends. It's Audrey Lovecraft, and I'm here with Coco Daisy using the Backyard Blooms collection today to do a project. So I almost always start with a sketch, and so I did a sketch here, and I will take a picture and post this so you can see it directly in here. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cluster a lot of flowers. So these are flowers from my garden. My topic is a flower journal. And the Backyard Blooms collection is perfect to document about flowers. In fact, Christine, in her little note to the subscribers this month, talks about growing in her garden, which she is just a gal after my own heart because I love my garden. So this collection is just perfect to document the flowers in my garden. So I have done a few different circles on Photoshop Elements, and I did a little tutorial which I am going to switch to in a moment to show you how I did these circles, how I was able to mask the photos in the circles. So these are photos of my flowers in my garden currently right now. And I'm going to do a mixed media layout with probably some Distress ink, maybe some watercolor. So I'm using a Vicki Boutin mixed media paper. It's kind of a thicker white paper to do this. So I am going to go hop over now to the I can't think, to the Photoshop Elements little mini tutorial that I did here on how to mask these flowers into the circles. And then I'm going to pop back in and show you how I get this layout started. All right? Thanks for being here. So hold on. All right, so this is how I make the photos, the flower photos in a circle. So on the left-hand side, I have chosen the shape icon and I'm choosing the circle. I am doing 3 different sizes, so 1 inch, 2 inch, and 3 inch. So because I want a little bit of a white border, I made the shape of the circle just under 1 inch. And now I'm scattering just a bunch of 1 inch circles on this 8.5 by 11 standard size printer sheet of paper. So I'm just going to scatter them and then I'm going to go back in and line them up. I'm not going to be using all of these circles. As you'll see in my layout, I don't have nearly this many small 1 inch circles. But I'm going through and I'm lining them up, and the reason why I'm lining them up is because I want to be able to punch them out with my 1 inch punch and have a little bit of a white border around it. So I want to make sure I space them out far enough so I can go in and use my 1 inch punch to punch them out. So here I am just lining them up. Because it's the 1 inch size, a lot more circles fit on the page. So there's a lot more circles that I'm going to need. I think I'm eventually going to delete some of them, but anyway, that's what that is. I've also already pre-made a 2 inch and a 3 inch sized circle. Again, I made them just a little bit smaller than 2 inches and 3 inches. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to put my photos, my flower pictures that you can see I have picked out down there. I'm going to go and put my photos into the circles. So these are my 2 inch and my 3 inch pages, and I am putting them on the toggle bar on the top so I can flip through them and decide what photos I want, what flower photos I want to put in each size. So I think I'm going to start working, I'm starting to work with the 3 inches. So I use the arrow pointer icon, I click it on, and I pick the photo, I put it directly into the page after I have clicked on the circle. Then on the right-hand side on my layers panel, I'm going to right-click the picture and select Create Clipping Mask. Once I do that, the picture is going to be masked and clipped into the photo. So then if you see me moving this photo around, it's not going to now come out of that mask. The picture is not going to extend beyond the photo. So then I'm going to size the photo a little bit in order to fit it into the circle. So here I'm going to do it again on the 3-inch circle with, I believe, the picture of the pumpkin squash and the bee. So again, I'm selecting the circle. Once I select the circle, I put the photo in. I right click on the photo, I hit create clipping mask, and then I'm going to size the photo down to fit the circle. I usually size it down on an angle so I can keep kind of the dimension size of the photo and fit it into there. And that is how you create a clipping mask and put photos in circles. Thanks for watching. Okay, everyone, I'm back with the mixed media part of the project. So I've already started to put down some of it here. I have a box here, and I tape the paper down. I'm using the Vicki Boutin mixed media paper, although I probably should have used, because I'm using a lot of water in this, I probably should have just used a straight watercolor paper, but oh well, it's fine. So I already started with some of the ink, and what I'm doing is I'm putting some more ink on it, and I'm ultimately going to work with this distress ink to kind of make it with like a watercolor relief. Alright, so I have an ink pad here. I have a peeled paint color that I'm using. I just stamped it down here. I'm going to add some water to it just to make it a little bit more of like a watercolor mixture. And I'm just going to paint it on here over the area, very loosely over the area where I'm going to put my flower circles. And you could see this, the Vicki Boutin mixed media paper is nice, but if you could see the little circles or little pieces of paper fiber that's coming off here, it's because I'm putting a lot of water on it, and that's why I take it. For me, I should have used the watercolor paper. But I'm going to let this dry now, and then I'm going to come back and I'll show you what I'm going to do with it once it's dry. Okay guys, I took out my heat gun because I didn't want to wait for this to dry. So I'm just going to dry this paper with the heat gun now. Because anxious is the wrong word, but I really want to get moving with this project, so. Okay, so now what I want to do is, one of the things I like about the Distress inks, turning it into, and making it into a, kind of like a watercolor, a cool watercolor relief, is I want to take, you can either take a mister bottle, or you can take a paintbrush and just flick some dots of water on it. So I'm just flicking the paintbrush with a few dots of water, and then I'm going to take a paper towel, and what this should do, sometimes it does not work for me, is where the water is, it should peel up that Distress ink. So let's hope it works. There we go. Alright, you can kind of see it. Might be kind of hard to see it. Oh, you can see it. I think you can see it on the screen. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, so I did that technique with the water. I want to take the ink again, dilute it, and do some splatter paint on top of it with the different color. So I'm going to take it here, dilute it again, but just do a little bit of water there because I want it to be a little bit darker. And then just going to splatter that on. So sometimes I splatter it like this, different effect, but so what I'm doing now is I took some of it away with the water and I'm adding some more. Sometimes I get that. Okay. Alright, so there's my background. Alright, so there's my background. So now I'm going to let this officially dry, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish it off. Okay, so I am back now, ready to finish up this layout. So this has dried. The paint splatter is dried. The water didn't do as well for me as I had wanted because I was using just the Distress inks and not the oxide inks. But that's okay. It's fine. So anyway, let's get started. I do have, before I speed up this video, just so you know, my dog Dennis is underneath the desk right now, and he's actually really scared of the tripod, but he's sleeping, so I'm really hoping that I can get through the rest of this video without him going a little nuts. So let's get this done. Let's lay this out and speed up this video. Okay, so off camera, I punched out my circles using a 3-inch, 2-inch, and 1-inch punch. Remember they were a little bit smaller, so they have the white border around them. Now I am gluing some down, and I'm also pop dotting some of them up. I use pop dots a lot for dimension. I like to sneak embellishments under the pop dots. It's just one of my favorite styles. There's Barley, my cat, who photobombs me a lot. She often finds her way onto the craft table. So once I'm done pop dyeing these up, I am going to take those beautiful script puffy stickers and put my title in before I get to work on the embellishments. So you'll see here I had to write down the words Flower Journal because I often work backwards, and I put down the letters going backwards so I have a general idea of where it's going to end up, where the words are going to end up, so I'm not accidentally going off the page. I also use a ruler to make sure I keep them straight, because I'm just anal like that, and I like to have them straight rather than kind of lopsided. So that's this part of things. Okay, I'm just gonna pop in here. So what I do usually with the kits is I keep the die cuts in a little container. So this one is another container that I use, and so I keep them in a container when I get them, and I take them out of the individual kits and I put them in a container because it's just a lot easier for me to manage them. So before I start a project, what I'll do is I'll go through the container, and in the lid I'll pick out die cuts that I kind of like to use in the project. So that's what I did here. I pre-did that. I picked out ones that I think will work, and so then I can spread them out here and decide which ones I want to use. And I was thinking about using, I'm not sure right now if I want to maybe just limit this to words really, or if I want to put in some of these graphics. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet or not. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to start my music again and finish up this layout. Alright, so let's dive in and see how I finish this layout up. So usually what I do with my kit is you can't see the top of my desk, but I have laid out now everything that I think I might use on this layout. And I'm going through now and trying to figure out what I want to put down. So I was really attracted to those puffy stickers. I put a lot of the puffy stickers down and used a lot of the die cuts. You'll see in a minute I did 3 of the words of the puffy stickers. And the reason why I did 3 is because I like the design rule of 3. It's just visually appealing for the viewer to look at it and see 3 different things of the same sort of, in the same family. So 3 of those puffy sticker words really helps me bring this layout together. Another thing I did was I took the die cuts and some of the circle die cuts, because there's a lot of circles on this page. I popped them up and I stuck them on the photos. You saw me there just a few seconds ago lifting it up off of the screen because I was lifting it up to hold it out to look at it
just to visually see what else I wanted to add. So I ended up adding some of the memory keeping classified kits, some of those chipboards from Freckled Fawn, and then now I am going back and adding the white word stickers. So pretty much what I did, I try to keep a somewhat of a sort of a loose pattern, and I went through and I added a lot of the white uh, stickers and some of those multicolored stickers that were in the memory keeping classified kit from, I think they're from Pretty Little Studio. And in a pattern, I added them around the page on top of each other. So pretty much wherever you see a die cut that has that's a word or a sentiment die cut, I added one of the white stickers and one of the colored word line stickers there. Now I'm going through and I'm adding my journaling. So I'm loosely drawing with a pencil and a ruler lines for my journaling. I like to have things line up. I like to keep it um, in a straight line. So I put it in pencil to begin with, and then I go ahead and I write out my journaling. So this is pretty much the last part of this process, is to go ahead and write out that journaling. And you'll see what I did was I left on the side, on the right hand side, I left space, white space, in order to make sure I add my journal for the flower journal. Now I'm erasing the pencil line. Um, I use a magic eraser. It comes out pretty well. And what I'm doing now is I am deciding, and I'm ultimately going to do it, you'll see, I am going to write the words on the side of the flower so I can designate what they are. What I did was I messed up there. So I messed up where that bee and the pumpkin flower is, so I just added another sticker there. And that's how this layout came together.
All right, thanks for joining me. Here's my final layout. Take care.